everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So recently I've been answering some questions that at least I feel that I can answer in regards to working at Sephora at Kohl'S. I had debated posting this kind of video because I did this with Old Navy, but I know that Sephora at Kohl'S is relatively new, and being completely honest, I actually did really like working there. It was a lot better than Sephora, JCPenney. Yeah, so we're gonna get into why I quit. I'm just gonna give like some backstories. Hopefully you can understand my reasoning. So pretty much, if you guys don't want to sit here and watch the whole video of me talking about this, the main reason that I wind up quitting was management. I feel like management is something to me that I know not every job is going to have amazing workers and management that I love, but I feel like once again this was a job very similar to Old Navy where I was just miserable dealing with this one manager. I'm going to get into the backstory and give situations and things that were happening also in regards to the manager and just other things in the store too. I posted 2 videos about working there, and I feel like I said in one of the videos about how after my interview with the store manager, which it was a shame because I really liked the store manager. She was super chill, nice, such like a friendly person, great personality, she was funny. I had my interview with her, so after I was with her, I went out into Sephora to meet some of the workers because I had gotten the job at that point. So I figured, okay, like let me go see who my coworkers are going to be, and then I wind up meeting my supervisor slash manager that would be in Sephora. I wind up talking to her for 5 minutes. She seemed okay, and I had said in my interview video that she told me that they all get along there really well because all of them came from Kohl's, so it's not really any new people. Basically, I would be like, you know, the outcast. So the thing that happened with that, she made a comment that I really did not like. She said that they are basically like a clique. That was red flag number 1, I guess. She's in her 50s. 2 of her closer workers there are in their 30s, so I don't even know why we are talking about a clique when y'all are older. At the time I was 23, I'm 24 now. Either way, I have no urge to want to join someone's clique. I was never like that in high school. I mean, I didn't even go to school half the time, let's be honest. I'm also not going to be like sucking up to people because I'm not like that as a person, and I never have been, and I don't feel that I should have to do that for a retail job. I started having my training and it was going fine. Eventually I went out into Sephora about a week later after doing all of the Kohl's training. So I go into the store, and this one girl that I haven't mentioned yet, I go up to her, I'm like, hi, I'm new here, I'm not really sure like who I'm supposed to talk to, and her response to that was literally oh, and then she walks away, and I'm like standing there like, am I supposed to follow her? And there was another girl there, which she wound up being really nice, and she showed me around the whole store. Now I only worked there for about a month and a half. I applied and was hired for a seasonal part-time beauty advisor. I mean, it was all girls and then one guy that I worked with, and for the most part I really enjoyed working with a lot of them. Going back to the 2 girls that were like in their 30s, the one was really nice. Now the other girl that was in her 30s, she was kind of on and off. Some days she was really chill, and then other days I don't know. To me, she kind of was like manager's assistant. She would be telling me that the manager said this and the manager said that, and it was kind of like, okay, if the manager is saying all this, why can't she come say that to me then? You know, like, why is she telling things through you? She was just here. She didn't say 2 words to me. Literally did not say a single word to me. Not even hello. She'd be making us lists of things to do, and y'all, I wish I would have taken a picture of this list because honestly I couldn't even take it serious. She had written, put highlighters back in the drawer, put the calculator away, random dumb stuff that I'm like, the highlighters aren't even out, like what are we doing? Wouldn't you rather I'm cleaning the store than putting the highlighters away? That same girl, she's telling us that once again the manager said that they don't want anybody up by the registers unless they're checking people out. Like, we need to be towards the front of the store, and it's like, what happens if, you know, we got customers making their way? I hate to seem like I'm following them around, but I feel like if you're already up kind of by the register, then it's not that suspicious. Because I mean, if you're in the front, you can't see what someone's doing back by the perfume, and regardless whether or not they're stealing, I'm not going to do anything about it. You're not supposed to. Now, my issues with the manager, I just felt like she kind of singled me out a lot of the time. She would be calling for me on the walkie-talkie all the time. I felt like I was reliving working at Old Navy once again. I know I was one of the new workers there, so obviously I understand that she wants to make sure I'm doing things correctly. But like, just for example, there was this one day where this lady and her little daughter were checking out, and they had stuff from Kohl's that we were just ringing up in there. So she had a suitcase and then like some other stuff, and the little girl had a headband. So you have to obviously check inside the suitcase to make sure they're not stealing anything. And then the little girl wanted to wear the headband, so I just rang it up, gave it back to her, and she was wearing it. So my manager, after they leave the store, she comes up and asks me, did you check the suitcase? And I'm like, yeah. And then she says, that little girl had a headband. Did she pay for that? And I said, yeah, but she wanted to wear it after it was paid for. And she's like, okay, well, just call them over the walkie and let them know so they don't try stopping her at the door and think that she stole it. Do y'all really think I called on the walkie to let them know that? There's no security at the door. None of the cashiers are paying attention to what people are doing. In a way, I can see, like, you know, she's just checking that I'm doing things, so then if I didn't do it, then she can correct me. But it's like, they're gone out of the store. Even if I didn't do it, what difference is it going to make? I feel like if you were really concerned about it, she could have came up while I was ringing them up and make sure that I was doing it correctly rather than after they've left the store. Next, they're really on top of me and the other new girl that were working about not standing around and talking and being in the same zones. Like, they wanted us basically separated throughout the store. There was this one day that, y'all, I'm literally on my hands and knees cleaning the gondola. The manager was standing around talking to one of the other girls, her 130-year-old, and the phone's ringing. I look over at her. You see that I'm literally on the floor. You're standing there talking. I don't even care what you're talking about. It's not like you're busy with a customer. She's like, Marissa, can you go get that? The whole time that I'm talking to whoever it was on the phone, she's staring at me. And then after I get off the phone, she's asking me who called. All the time, I wish I was exaggerating. No matter where I was in the store, you know when you feel like someone's staring at you, like you can literally feel their eyes on you? That's how I was. I would just look, she's staring at me. No matter where I was, I could be doing anything, cleaning, with a customer, stocking, putting something back. She would watch me the whole freaking time. So I have a mask on and I'm just like, what is she looking at? Like, what am I doing wrong? Because she's not saying anything. It was almost like she was waiting for me to mess up. But y'all, I'm on top of my shit. I felt like she was kind of always belittling me. I really just hated talking to her. I try to avoid her basically at all costs. If I needed help, let me ask somebody else. Whenever I feel a certain way about situations, I always like to research and see if other people go through similar things that I go through, basically to validate my feelings. So I noticed, in all seriousness, on Indeed, I like to read other people's reviews of jobs, kind of like how some people like to watch videos about why they quit a certain job. Very similar. So something though, not specifically just at this Kohl's, but Kohl's as a company, a lot of past employees and current employees have complained about management. So this is something, I guess, in general that is a problem with a lot of their stores. I don't want to say that I really had problems with other managers, but because like I said, I did like the store manager, but there was other ones. I don't really know what their title was. One of the girls that I had just previously mentioned about being like the manager's assistant had actually said one day that the other managers out in Kohl's just weren't the most helpful. And I finally realized that one night when I was closing with another new girl. What really pissed me off is that it was something not that serious. They flat out just ignored us in Sephora. Over the walkie, I had called, you know, can a manager just come a second because we have a question. It had to do with the register and the money. There was like a lot of 50s. I didn't know if you could leave it, if you had to switch out and like call for change. Literally, it would have just taken a second to answer the question. The other girl that I'm working with, she's calling for them, and she's eventually just kind of like yelling for them on the walkie. Still no answer. One of the managers kind of answered, but we're like, what? We couldn't understand like what you mean. You see her walking past the store and she's on her little headset talking. So clearly you've heard us calling for you. It wasn't even so much that I cared, but it just showed like a lack of respect in my opinion. Like, y'all are just not willing to help us. On my previous videos, some people were confused when I was saying about I had to work out in Kohl's sometimes. It started off that you would just kind of go out in Kohl's and help get the line down if they're really busy and like Sephora, there's nothing really going on, or if there's a lot of workers there. So that's how it started. And it wasn't just me, it would be other Sephora workers too. My next scheduled shift, if I would have gone back to work, was actually out in Kohl's, like a 7-hour shift as a cashier. You can actually pick up shifts even no matter what department you work in if you know you want to just make some extra money. But I never offered that and said that I wanted to work out in Kohl's. I will admit I misunderstood what the store managers did say at my interview. We had been talking about the training and she said that I was going to have some training out in Kohl's. And so I did that. I did customer service in the back. I did days of like buddy training with other Kohl's workers. But I misunderstood that I would have full-on shifts out in Kohl's, because I would never have wanted to do that. Maybe it was just because they're short-staffed, I understand. I think that is pretty much everything. But you know, in all seriousness, when I was working in Sephora, I really did like it. I felt like I was always doing something. I liked the fact that, you know, you didn't have to do all the beauty services. You know, I didn't have to do no face masks on people and have a freaking spa day with them. Yeah, the job itself, I honestly would recommend. If you get good management, you can really enjoy the job. I wouldn't recommend it to someone who is looking to be like a makeup artist, because you don't really get that much practice. You can potentially get clients if you want to do it outside of Kohl's, but if you want to do it at the store, then yeah, you don't really get that much practice. So I probably recommend a freestanding for that. If management wasn't a factor in that, I most likely would have stayed for as long as, you know, they would have had me. But that is, I guess, why I ultimately quit. And if you guys have any other questions, feel free to comment. I'll try to answer to the best of my knowledge, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.